Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Shalby Limited Q4 FY21 earnings conference call hosted by Elara Securities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Param Desai from Elara Securities Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Faizan. Good afternoon to all the participants in the Shalby Limited Q4 FY21 earnings call hosted by Elara Securities. Today we have with us from the Shalby management Dr. Vikram Shah, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Shanay Shah, President, Dr. Nishita Shukla, Group CEO, Mr. Prahlad Inani, CFO, and other senior management from Shalby. I will hand over the call to Mr. Mahesh, who is a part of the corporate strategy and investor relations team. Over to you, Mahesh.
Thank you, Mr. Param. Good afternoon, everyone. Our earnings presentation is uploaded on the stock exchange website and our company website, shalby.org. We do hope you have already had the opportunity to go through the presentation. Please note that some of the statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risks and uncertainties. Kindly refer to slide number 34 of the earnings presentation for a detailed disclaimer. Now, I would like to hand over the call to Dr. Vikram Shah, Chairman, for his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Shalby Quarter 4 2021 earnings call. I hope you and your families are staying safe amidst ongoing second wave of the pandemic. I will first brief overview of the company performance during the quarter said, and then hand over call to CFO Sri Prahlad Inani to discuss financial performance, and then operating performance in number of patients and operations. Our Group CEO, Dr. Nishita, will speak. First of all, I want to mention that during the COVID time, actually last quarter was not the COVID time, and only 9% of the revenue is of COVID. And there was a normalization of economic and business activity during this quarter. And there was a huge decline of COVID patients during end of the third quarter only. So we had a huge jump on year-on-year earnings of quarter 4, revenue earning as well as EBITDA earning as well as net profit earning year-on-year, quarter-on-quarter. Now, I would like to hand over phone to Mr. Inani. He will make points aware.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll discuss the financial performance and key indicators of the company for the fourth quarter. On a standalone basis, the company registered total revenue of 1,440 million in Q4 FY21 compared to rupees 1,160 million same quarter last year, registering a growth of 24% on year-on-year basis and 9.3% on quarter-on-quarter basis. EBITDA for the quarter is rupees 346 million compared to rupees 129 million in quarter 4 FY 2020, a significant growth of 168% on year-on-year basis. EBITDA margin were 24% as compared to 11.1 in Q4 FY20. The margin improvement is primarily driven by cost optimization initiatives that are being implemented during the year. Net profit was 110 million for the quarter compared to a loss of 169 million in Q4
FY20. PAT margin for the quarter stood at 7.7%. Due to increase in surgery count, revenue contribution from the arthroplasty specialty increased to 40% as compared to 17% in the previous quarter, and ARPOB also increased to 33,225 as compared to 26,660 in Q3 FY21, the preceding quarter. Total number of beds occupied were 481, representing an occupancy level of 40% as presented in our presentation also. We continue to operate strong cash flow and maintaining a strong balance sheet with net cash flow of 903 million at the end of March 2021. Thank you very much, and I hand over few details for operating side to Dr. Nishita Shukla.
Hello everyone, good evening, and I'll just like to brief you about the number of surgeries we did in quarter 4. So we did good number of surgeries, and the total number was 5,472 elective surgeries were performed during this quarter, and it is an increase of 78% on QOQ basis, and out of which 50% was arthroplasty, but we also did good with oncology, nephro and cardiac surgeries. We also did lot of non-COVID critical medicine work, like with ICU patients for post-COVID treatments and post-COVID surgeries also. And with the opening of, like, as COVID was less in quarter 4 and like patients started traveling and opening of everything, we saw an increase of 53% of significant jump in outpatient OPDs also. So our quarter 4 outpatient OPDs were around 1 lakh patients, wherein IP patients were 8,665 and our OP daycare patients were 5,829. So in total, if you see in quarter 4, we have treated and we have consulted patients of more than 1,19,000. And about the COVID part, like Shalby remains committed to serve COVID patients. Our all hospitals were treating COVID patients, and we have allocated 1,500 beds overall at group level to COVID patients, and we treated 770 patients in quarter 4. Overall, the year growth of COVID, total COVID patients treated for the year are 6,640, out of which quarter 4 we treated 770 patients.
So, Board of Directors have recommended a final dividend of rupees 1 per share also, a 10% dividend this time. Return on equity also improved 5.2% in FY21 as compared to 3.5% in FY20. And now thank you very much, and we can open the call to any question you have.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Sudhir Beda from Right Time Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. And congratulations on good set of number and strong operational cash flow. Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sir, my questions are now we are seeing, I believe that you are now operating almost at 100% capacity. That in last quarter you operated at 40% capacity. So does it mean that your revenue will go higher according to your occupancy?
Absolutely right. We are going to have almost last month we will have more than double the revenue of average month last year.
Oh,
We are having 1,300 occupancy at this point of time, which was about 550 in the March.
So it means you are operating nearly at 100% capacity, right? So your revenue will also flow according to your capacity.
Yes, absolutely. It is totally.
So can we expect that this quarter your revenue will be double of that Q4?
About, yes.
About. And on the one hand, your surgery count will go down, I believe, because of the higher occupancy of COVID patients. Is it so?
I will explain you this in a proper perspective. All planned surgeries are not coming to the hospital. All planned surgeries are not coming to the hospital. So it be cardiac surgery, so it be joint replacement, so it be spine surgery. Some of the cancer surgeries are happening. But overall, if you see in this quarter, in this month, which is changing now slowly the wave is coming down. So, it will be still there in the month of May, but June will not be there. So first 2 months will be approximately double or more than the average month we have. Routinely, the ARPOB of surgical corporate hospital is 35,000, 40,000 per bed per day. With COVID, it is about 22,000, so it is less. So the hospitals which are remaining full as such are not benefiting from COVID. They will actually start making loss. But we had extra space in almost all hospitals other than 2 or 3. So we are having benefit because even ARPOB is 70% of normal. We will have a higher revenue. So our occupancy is nearly 2.5 to 2.8 times, but our revenue will double.
Yeah, understood. So your average revenue per bed will come down slightly, but since your occupancy is almost 2.5 times, the revenue will flow accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how I believe that your EBITDA margins are higher in this time, in COVID time.
Yeah.
So margin will go up?
Yeah, margin will go up. It looks like that. But I can't say anything at this point of time as we are discussing the result of previous quarter rather.
Sure, sir. And just can you throw light on your diagnostic revenue and vaccination drive and what kind of revenue you can generate from those things?
Vaccination drive, we had been doing approximately 200 vaccines per day in each unit before this COVID surge started. So January, February, March, we did 200 vaccines every day in almost all units. Some small units did 100 vaccines. And in the coming time, we are planning to do 200 to 400 in every unit minimum. So next 6 months, there will be huge vaccine drive. The government has allowed about 200 rupees per vaccine. So it will be a huge net earning to the hospitals.
And can you throw light on your diagnostic segment? Because you are not giving it separately. So
actually, we don't have it separate at this point of time because it is, part of the package to the patient. So, we have not separated out that particularly the diagnostic part because all
Are you doing COVID test also?
We are doing COVID test, but COVID revenue of last quarter was 9% only. It was surgical and routine this thing, and those are packages. So all investigations are part of package.
Thank you. Mr. Beda, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions?
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Thakkar from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So you said this quarter the COVID business was 9% of the total sales, but since we are already 2 months into the next quarter, so how is this business looking up now?
Well, I just said that it is double the revenue than last quarter, it looks like.
Okay. Okay. And sir, so how would you take a call on the core business? So do you feel that because more number of COVID patients are coming in, you're finding it difficult to accommodate the normal patients?
You know, what happens in these times is you have to stand by your people. You don't think about your work or his work or my work. People are dying on the street. You know, we have opened up our doors and we are treating 1,400 patients on a continuous basis, day and night. We are actually treating highest number of COVID patients in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, and in Western India all. We have treated highest number of patients, and we have treated highest number of patients in home care also. That has become also a huge business now. So you know, whenever such sort of epidemic comes, the old work has to go down. And you know what? When this wave goes down, the cold work will come back because people are waiting. We are doing huge number of e-consultation on net, and those patients are waiting. Once this wave will go down, they will start coming in. So we will do double the work. We don't mind doing hard work.
Yeah. Sir, would it be fair to say that this quarter you would have incurred higher expenditures because of the need to install more ventilators, oxygen supply lines?
To be very honest with you, our hospitals are fully made and fully prepared. The only thing we required to buy was some ventilators and some monitors to make some ICCU functional. Otherwise, everything was ready. So we have not spent more than 8 crores in total in this quarter.
Okay. Okay. So sir, finally, last question, any update on the Asha Parekh and the Nashik hospital? How's the status there? Because it's COVID times, I understand.
Yeah. It is the Nashik hospital, the whole, the box is ready. Finishing is going on, which will take 6 months to 1 year. And about Asha Parekh hospital is concerned, because of the continuous wave in Bombay, we have put the plans in passing, which government is not able to take it through because of the number of emergency measures they are in. So we have our plans ready. So once the plans are passed, we can construct it in a couple of years quickly.
Okay. Yeah, this is very helpful, sir. You're doing a good job. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ritesh Gandhi from Discovery Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir, and congratulations on a great set of numbers. Just a couple of questions. On your return on
Mr.
capital
Gandhi,
employed.
I would request you to please increase the volume of your device.
Sure. So on your return on kind of capital employed, if you could give us some thoughts on how you're going to enhance your overall ROCEs in a world after COVID ends effectively. How do we expect to ramp up occupancy and in turn increase our ROCE? And also, if you could highlight the kind of use of the excess actually kind of like cash on our balance sheet. And are there any acquisitions in plan, or if we are otherwise going to return it to?
I'm not able to understand last part what you are saying, Ritesh. I have understood first question, I'm answering it, then you ask your question later on. Okay, I will finish first. About return on capital employed, we are at 40% of occupancy and our ROC is at about 8%. So as our occupancy will improve, our ROC will improve, and as we reach up to 70-80% of occupancy, our ROC will be not only in double digit, it will be near 20. That is the biggest advantage we have. Compared to rest of the hospital chains, our ROC had been always better, and it is improving now. It is, we created more number of hospitals in a given year or two, and that's why our ROC came down, because we invested simultaneously at the time of public issue. But now, as you see, our ROC is continuously improving. So it will improve further with the passage of time, and the way things are going now, I will not need to wait more than a year. Next year by this time we should have a double-digit ROC.
Understood. And if you could also highlight the use of the cash that we have on a balance sheet, if we are looking at incremental acquisitions or greenfield or brownfield, or just returning the capital to the shareholders. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, we are sitting on nearly 160 crore of cash on the balance sheet. With this cash, first of all, we are going to use it in Asha Parekh Hospital, Bombay, which we are creating. We are going to spend about 160-70 crore for the unit, and we will be spending about 20-25 crore in Nashik unit. So these are the two places where in hospitals we are going to use our money. The second place is we are planning to acquire a company for backward integration, where we'll be spending about 80 to 100 crores, which would in turn improve our ROC at a much higher level, because these businesses are usually run at 20-25% of ROC. So our own internal consumption is so high, so our cost will go down and our ROC will improve.
You got it. And so, I mean, if we are seeing backward integration, this would be a devices company in the arthroscopy space, is it?
Can you speak a little loudly, please?
So I was just asking, because in hospitals, how do we look at backward integration? Is it, devices which are we acquiring a devices player? Because isn't that effectively a completely a new line of business effectively?
Well, it will not be very prudent to talk about it presently. Maybe I can talk to you in detail offline.
Sure. Okay. I'll join the queue. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jason Son from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
So thanks for taking my question. Just wanted some details. I know you touched upon it. Your occupancy rate is in Q4 stands at 40%. Now, what I understood, and you also said that your hospitals are running full. So what should be the current occupancy rate in April, May, and also if some color if you can give on the ARPOB as well.
Basically, the ARPOB we have not calculated in detail, but rough ARPOB is about 22,000 rupees. Our occupancy normally, which remains at 530, 540, which is now 1,350. Our all units are running at highest ever occupancy. All ICCUs are full. No ICCU bed is available as on today while I am talking this. So all hospitals are full, all ICCUs are full. Number of units were facing shortage of oxygen, so we have worked upon that also, and we are able to work nicely and serve the society. And beyond this, we are doing huge amount of home care work. So that would add on top line substantially, not less than 15-20 crores next year.
Okay, sir. So just one thing, you said your number of beds occupied in Q4 was around 481. Now it stands at 1,200 plus, is it?
It is. April was 1,350. May is going at 1,250.
Okay, sure. Thanks. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mulesh Savla from Shah and Savla. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations on a very great set of numbers, and thanks for taking my questions. I have two questions. One is, sir, some light on the operations of Hospital Vijay, our hospital at Vapi, and our hospital Zainova at Ghatkopar West. Because as I see the contribution to the revenues from all these three hospitals is very negligible, or rather, in case of Zainova, I think it is zero. So can you please give us some color on that?
First of all, you want to talk about Zainova? First of all, Zainova Hospital is actually what we are running it and operationally running it, and we get 5% of revenue, total revenue they are making. So it is somebody else's hospital, profit and loss belongs to them. We are getting 5% charge of that hospital. So it is going as a corporate income and it is not seen separate. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Number two, as far as Vapi Hospital is concerned, Vapi Hospital is doing well and it has started doing well. See, we see this way that normal hospitals will cost you 150 crores. But this has costed us about 12-15 crores. So, naturally turnover will be less, profit will be less. So, we can't compare it apple to apple. But it is making good money. It is going great guns now. And as far as Vijay Shelby is concerned, it is our historical unit. It is our first unit from where we started before 27 years. And it is also doing very well during COVID time. And now, actually, we are converting into SOCE. SOCE full form is Shelby Orthopedic Center of Excellence. So, what franchising model we are developing all across country, and we will go outside country also in franchising model, where we will give franchisee of our orthopedic brand to others. And we have two models in that, FOFO and FOSO. Franchisee owned and franchisee operated, and franchisee owned, franchisee shall be operated. And we have made this first unit as a FOSO model. So actually we are soon going to start exclusive orthopedic work in that hospital, but because of COVID we have delayed it for a couple of months. So now by June we will start that FOSO model with SOCE at Vijay Shelby. So whomsoever comes from across country, they can see that this is the kind of franchisee we are going to run, and they can go and see the place and decide how they want to go about it.
So it's like would be a pilot project kind of.
Yes. We already we have done everything. We have not opened it as a SOCE because of the COVID thing. We have already done infrastructure work and complete renovation has been contemplated.
Great. And my second question is, sir, on if you can update us on our plans related to manufacturing of some medical equipment, as I think we were thinking about.
Well, it will be more futuristic. If we stick to last quarter, it would be nice. We can talk this offline if you want.
Sure. Thank you. Then I'll try to connect you offline. Thanks very much and all the very best.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Dixit Doshi from Whitestone Financial Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations for a good numbers, and also would like to thank all of you at the hospital for doing the great work for the nation. Sir, I have one question. So let's say in a current pandemic period, we are seeing a high occupancy but low ARPOB. But let's say from FY23 onwards, let's say hopefully we will not have COVID in FY23. How do you see the business shaping up in terms of ARPOB and average occupancy? So pre-COVID, we usually used to have 36 to 38% kind of occupancy rate. So how this can move up, because now gradually your newer hospital are also getting older, like 3 to 5, clearing the benchmark of 3 to 5 years. So how do you see it business from FY23 onwards?
Minus COVID, we had been growing 15-20% every year, and at the same time we opened the hospital, so people could not see that high a growth in general. Having said this, we will continue to grow 15-20% minus COVID, and with COVID there will be a smaller or larger tailwind. Now, let me tell you that the Spanish flu of 1920 had 4 waves. So I'm not trying to make you people panic, but there will be 3rd wave and there will be 4th wave also. So it is going to be around, it is not going to go away anywhere. 3rd wave will be smaller than this wave, and it will be around September. Number 1. Number 2, because of COVID, there are very high number of patients who get complications related to steroid and other medicines, and even related to COVID itself, like permanent lung fibrosis, like fungal infection in nose and other places. And we have started getting huge number of those patients in our post-COVID ICCU. Even these mucormycosis surgeries, we are doing daily 2 surgeries of mucormycosis. So this work will continue for coming 3 years, 5 years. Forget about this. Because of this high doses of steroid, people are getting avascular necrosis of femoral head, and in a very high number. So in the first wave who got steroids are getting now AVN of the femoral head, and we are doing total hip replacement for them. So all problems related to patients of COVID who have survived but who are not good enough will need some or the other type of medical and surgical help for 3 to 5 years to come, and not less. So our normal growth pattern had been 15-20%, but minus COVID, it will be 10% more, and with COVID it will be much more.
Okay, understood, sir. And secondly, in terms of, during the first wave of COVID, our ARPOB was same around 22,000 rupees. But that time the consumable cost was very low. So do you feel the same will be the scenario now, or now the serious patients are more, so there may be more consumable and the cost might go up?
Well, as I said earlier also, that COVID ARPOB is about 22,000 rupees, and the material used is less, so our profit margin remains well because our cost structure is made very well. Having said this, our normal ARPOB is 30 to 34,000 rupees because of our high number of surgical cases. So now onwards, what we will see is a mix of both, because now, cold work is also going on. It is up and down, but it doesn't become zero. So, we will start seeing a kind of mixed picture in a coming time in different quarters, that the ARPOB will be in between and consumables and other will be in between. It will not be pure COVID or pure non-COVID.
Okay. And just one last question from my side. So you said that we also doing the vaccination program. So is there any additional cost to us in vaccination, or usual our normal doctors are occupied there, and therefore most of the revenue is you can say a kind of profitable business?
Yeah. It is not even 10% is a cost of doing this work. So this is 100% gross profit business vaccination is.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ranodip Sen from Monks and Happiness. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. My question is from a long-term perspective. Given in 2020, India's average median age was around 26.8 years, and by 2030, it is expected to be 38 years. So as the country ages, do we see growth of Shalby will be exponential in the coming decade, as orthopedic surgeries, as I understand, will be prevalent more in the 40-plus-year-old category? Thank you.
Well, to be very honest with you, if we see the newspaper and media, as such, we are lack of good quality beds in this country. People are dying on the road. As such, we need more number of hospitals. As such, we need more number of doctors. As such, we need more paramedical staff. So need is immense. Only thing is you have to run it well. And you can't just make profit like software companies. But if you can make a decent profit, you can make decent ROC, and you can do really very well, which we had been doing for 27 years. But because return on investment is low in this business, not many people are interested. And the same thing is going with us, that we are now going for a franchisee model whereby we will be doing our business in somebody's premises, so we don't have to spend for the real estate. So that's what we are doing now onwards. So that will improve our further ROC also. As far as the age is concerned, we are doing nothing. Actually, we are doing about 1,50,000 knee replacement and 1,50,000 hip replacement in a year. India will be doing nearly 3 million knees and hips in 10 years to come. And we are on the top of it. We are number one in the entire globe as far as joint replacement are concerned. We can grow 10 times in 10 years, even only in joint replacement. Same is with the spine surgery. Spine surgery can grow 20 times from here in 10 years. So these surgeries can grow exponentially if the facilities are there, if the surgeons are trained. Basically we are using our all main hospitals as a training center. We have one of the largest learning and development center. We have Mr. Thomas, who is our CHRO. I want him to have a word with you people that what kind of work we are doing in learning and development, which is our entire backbone of our entire business. Just give me a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. This was regarding the learning and development activities we are performing, which is the backbone of all service sector, especially hospitals. And that has actually immensely helped us during this pandemic period to skill gap training programs we arranged. And very fortunately, recent last year, we were able to set up a simulation lab and an experiential learning center in one of our Ahmedabad centers, and which has catered to more than 200 fresh nursing staff and paramedical staff during last 6 months. And it has immensely helped us to cater to the patients who have, when there was a spike, we were able to cater to all the patients who have come in. And with only 10% of the increase in the number of resources, paramedical and nursing staff, we were able to cater to 3 times of the patients came into our facilities without any complaint and with the same customer experience that we were able to offer. So a huge work we are doing in learning and development setup. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. This detailed explanation gives a lot of perspective. It helps. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Janice Chheda from Dimensional Securities. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir, and congratulations for good set of numbers, and also thank you for helping the whole nation out in such times. I have a couple of questions. Number one, so 9% of COVID revenue you said. So does that include the vaccination revenue as well?
No, it is only IP patients. And the 9% is also from 15th March to 31st March. Actually, if you ask me, first 2.5 months, there were almost nil patients.
Okay. And the OPD number which you have given of 1 lakh, does that include vaccination?
No. These are OPD numbers are new cases and old revisits. Vaccinations are totally differently handled.
Okay, so the number does not have vaccination count anywhere.
Okay.
Okay. And secondly, okay, so second question is answered. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sudhir Beda from Right Time Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity again, sir. And this time I would like to congratulate to you for doing great service to the nation. Sir, my question is like we have now 3 to 4 streams like vaccination and then home care and then COVID and then operation. Now, situation is where we are 100% occupancy, but average revenue per bed in case of COVID is down to 22,000. And when we for the rest of the business like surgeries and all, we are still continuing with 33,000. So what kind of blended margin we see for the next 2 to 3 quarters?
Well, blended margins will be, we always have remained at 20 to 24% of EBITDA margins, and we will stay there. I don't think there will be much of a difference because it will be a mix.
It will not go up, sir?
Sorry, sir?
It will not go up because of one, it is 100% occupancy, and second, we have less expenses as far as COVID patients are concerned.
It is double just now. It is double just now. This month is 80 crores. Last month was 80 crores. But it will go down also. So, June will be 45 crores a day. So it will be a mixed bag. And yes, margin will remain same or little more, but total profit will be double.
Yeah, that understood. So margin more or less you expect the same kind of EBITDA margin of 24%.
No, but we have never gone down below 20% in our history.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Janice Chheda from Dimensional Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir, just one follow-up question. So the increase in number of surgeries count and number of OPD patients, which is huge, QOQ, like 77% and 53%. So that was because of pent-up demand?
No, actually, what happens is, you take Q2 of last year, it was 100% COVID, 90% COVID. Q2 was 50-50. Q3 was 50-50 COVID and non-COVID. And fourth quarter was 90-10, 91 and 9. So, Q3 was a mix of both COVID, non-COVID, and Q4 was largely non-COVID. So there is a definite larger increase you can see in surgical count and OPD count.
But it is, I guess, one of the highest ever since for you, right?
It is the highest ever in last 27 years. Yes.
Yeah. So what was the reason for that jump?
That jump because people are waiting at home and for 3-4 months because of COVID, and now suddenly they feel safe, so they start coming. Even now, as our COVID graph is going down, people have started coming in for other surgeries now. We can see it from this week.
Okay. So on steady-state basis, you expect 5,000 approx surgeries, non-COVID times?
Yeah. And another thing, you know what? The moment fear goes down, people do come for outpatient and surgery because now people have started learning to live with this because, they don't want to wait. They just do come and, daily we are doing 4-5 surgeries for joint replacement. We have this from this week. So, people have started coming out saying that, okay, this is going to be with us only. Why we want to wait for our normal work to be sorted out.
Okay. And any revenue from international tourism during the quarter?
International tourism has started, not full-fledged. We have started getting some patients from Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, and one patient came from Cameroon, but not big numbers yet.
Okay. In terms of percentage of revenue, you can give some light?
Not much really. It is couple of percent.
Less than 1%. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Shah from KSA Shares and Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Wish you all a good health and thanks for the opportunity. Doctor, my question was regarding that we have specialized in knee replacements and other orthopedic surgeries and treatment. So to grow from here, do we see any prospects of growing in other verticals or other treatment of quaternary or tertiary treatment and so on?
We are doing lot of work in cancer. We are doing lot of work in cardiology. We are doing lot of work in neurosurgery. So we are doing lot of work in a number of branches. Actually, we do lot of radiation oncology also. We have top doctors in these all different branches. We do kidney transplant. We do liver transplant. So we do everything, and that's the reason we are able to treat COVID patients. So in a kind of, yes, we do lot of joint replacement work because I am there and my trained people are there in all 10 hospitals across the country. But that doesn't mean that we know only these things. We do lot of other things, but we do lot of orthopedics. Yes, I will not deny that. But we have been, see, when we started our first corporate hospital in 2007, at SG Road opposite Karnavati Club, it was 100% orthopedic hospital. From there we have done journey to reach to 50% orthopedic and 50% rest of the specialty. So we are doing lot of orthopedic work, but we have developed other branches and they are growing faster than orthopedic because the orthopedic base is so large. Other branches are able to grow faster percentile wise than orthopedics.
That's great. And sir, what about our diagnostic center? Do we plan any satellite unit or increasing therapies over there or going third-party test and all?
No, we are actually planning Shalby Orthopedic Center of Excellence where we will not be investing in real estate and we'll be giving our branding, our expertise and we'll train their people to do the business there, and we'll have such a good number of centers across India to start with.
Right. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side. Good luck to you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So, are we done?
Sir, there are no more questions in the queue.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the earning call. If you have any further questions, please feel free to connect with our investor relations and please continue to stay safe. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Elara Securities Private Limited, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.